Even though this is basically a shoot 'em up film, it gives pretty good insight into what it's like to be black and a police officer in the United States of America. What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Filmy Thoughts. Before we crack on, please press that subscribe button. That would be massively appreciated. Today, we're going to talk about a film called Black and Blue. This comes straight out of Hollywood. I believe it is a low budget film simply because of the marketing around it, as well as the people who star in it are not very well known. There are two well known people in there, from my point of view, anyway. But they're not superstars. So the first one being our very own British Naomi Harris, who has starred in films such as a couple James Bond films as Moneypenny, I believe. And we have Tyrese Gibson, who is known for Baby Boy. He's also a singer, and Fast and the Furious franchise, of course. Just want to quickly point out that it's good to see Tyrese back on his feet after a mental breakdown a couple years ago. I don't know if he was acting or if it was authentic. I wasn't following the full story. I just heard bits and pieces, and he was at war with The Rock and all of that. But it didn't seem like he was ticking on all cylinders. So it's good to see him back. Just to give you a brief synopsis of this film, it is based, I believe, in New Orleans. It looks like it. They were talking about the hurricanes and the fact that the hurricane destroyed everything, destroyed the infrastructure. So I'm guessing it was New Orleans a couple of years ago. That's where it was setting. But Naomi Harris plays an ex-soldier that returns to her neighborhood, and the only thing she really wants to do is help her people. But her people don't like the police. So she's in a bit of a catch-22, and the police force do not like her because she's a rookie. The police force is also extremely corrupt, and she basically has a conscience where she witnesses one of her police officers murdering three innocent children, and it's caught on her body cam. So now there is a massive chase throughout the city, with the police looking for her, as well as a pretty big notorious drug cartel gang in the area, because one of the kids that were murdered by the police officers is actually the nephew to the kingpin. So Naomi Harris is running away from the police force as well as this gang. It's basically a shoot 'em up film, but there's not too many shots fired. I rather enjoyed it because it gave me a pretty good insight from a perspective of a black person on the side of the law, as well as a black person that's not on the side of the law. And they managed to link that in one film pretty well. You know, the opening scene shows Naomi Harris going for a jog in her neighborhood, and a police officer stops her and basically pushes her up against the wall and searches her, and is quite rough and aggressive with her up until they find out that she is actually a police officer, and then their whole tune changes, which was interesting to see. And then on the other side, you see the fact that she is in her uniform, the police don't respect her, and neither does her neighborhood. So it's interesting. It's quite, it made me think about being black and in America. It doesn't look like it's a cool thing, to be honest, in certain neighborhoods anyway. For me, it was an easy watch. It wasn't too complicated. Do I think they could have done more? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think, as I said, I think they managed to link the two, give give visions of two worlds pretty good, pretty well. So I personally don't think so. I'm only giving it a 2 out of 5 though. I'm not saying it's excellent. And it was just a film to have on in the background. Basically, it didn't move mountains, and I don't think it will for anyone that decides to watch it. But if I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know. But that is it from me. You guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, and wonderful night. You take care.